Rise.
Hello, beautiful viewers of Abakwa Television. Top of the week to you and welcome to yet another edition of the show Arise and Shine. Remember, it's that show where we engage you viewers in real-time discussions on current events, lifestyle topics, and the societal issues. Now, back to health tips. We have a doctor who is out turning awareness into action all the way from Home Clinic Foundation. You've had him before talk to us about sleep hygiene, hepatitis, and now he's here to tell us about what you find out. He's none other but Dr. Tarawo Kwinji. Welcome. And of course, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm fine.
All right. It's good to have you here.
Thank
so
you.
Today, let's know what you wanted to talk to us about when it comes to drugs and substance abuse.
All right. Thank you very much, Sibyl. If you've noticed, the level of drug abuse in Cameroon is on the rise.
Okay.
We can testify as well as you can that at least you know one person that is involved in drug use disorder.
Yeah.
So it is a growing concern, and that is why I'm here to talk about it, because it concerns or would impact us in one way or the other.
Yeah.
So we must take it as a personal issue. But the first thing is to raise awareness so that people can be conscious of these problems in the community. So that collectively we can find a solution and we can stop those who are not involved from becoming involved.
All right. So, Dr. Brain, what is drug and substance abuse? Let's start with the overall definition.
All right. I will be very simple with my answer.
Yeah.
Drug and substance abuse is simply the abnormal use of drugs or substances. Typically, the word abuse comes from two words. The AB stands for abnormal and the second one stands for use. So everything has their proper use. The water you drink has its proper use. The food you eat has its proper use. So whenever you use it out of the normal, we call it abuse. So there are certain substances that have been used abnormally for the purposes for which they were not intended. Typically, most of us will think about all the illicit drugs around. Even pharmacological drugs are also being abused. So I'm going to talk about drug and substance abuse in general, not neglecting medications given at the level of the hospital and also the illicit drugs that are circulating around. So drug abuse, in simple terms, is simply the abnormal use of drugs and substances.
Okay, so what are the most commonly abused substances among youth today?
All right, I'll talk about our context, Cameroon, typically Bamenda, or the rest of the regions. The most common drug that is abused everywhere in the world is alcohol. I'm sure some of our viewers might just be smiling because they are all victims. They are all victims of alcohol abuse.
Yeah.
So alcohol is actually a drug, and I want all of us to know that alcohol is a drug. It's true that it's being marketed like commercially available, readily available. You can buy it regardless of your age, especially here in Cameroon.
Yeah.
It's one of the first drugs that is commonly abused. Among many, we have what we call tramadol. It's a medical drug used in the hospital, but youths are abusing it these days. And let me not say youth, it's being abused. Yes, there are elders who do that. Then in addition to that, we have what we commonly call kayo. Kayo is actually methamphetamines. We call it the poor man's coke. So it is cheaper than the real, than the real stuff, you know. They take cocaine mixed with some other thing and the rest. And some people say bones. Well, bones because they have sulfur, because sulfur is part of all of those amphetamines and the rest. So methamphetamines. We also have what we call red. Red is actually a tablet that contains thiopentadol and other psychoactive drugs. Then we also have the marijuana, which we call mbanga typically.
Yes.
Or cannabis, yes. So we also have other drugs like nicotine in cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
So there are so many of them, but these are most of the commonly abused drugs within the context that
Okay.
I've seen and that I've also received persons who are victims of this.
Okay, let's ride on. Thank you very much for that explicit response.
You're
How
welcome.
does substance use disorder differ from casual drug use?
Substance use disorder. In fact, when we use the word addiction, sometimes it's scary.
Right?
It's very
True.
scary. It can make people become scared of showing up because it has a stigma attached to it.
Okay.
So the word drug and substance use disorder,
Mm-hmm.
it's a preferable and a more friendly word when we want to refer to somebody who is a victim of
Okay.
addiction.
Oh, that's smart.
Yes, in that way, you encourage openness.
Mm-hmm.
So substance use disorder is simply that behavioral pattern. Despite your awareness of its negative consequences on you, you still keep on using
Yeah,
it
you can't avoid
because
it.
you find it difficult stopping it.
Okay.
Yes, but there's a certain level of let me say there's what we use in determining the level or the severity of substance use disorder.
Okay.
Its severest level, we can call it addiction. But again, I say the use of those words is a little bit
Okay.
it's a little bit careful because you don't want to stigmatize people
Yeah.
who are actually going through a problem.
Okay.
Because substance use disorder is a health problem. It's a
Okay.
disease, just like HIV and any other thing. It has its own way it plays on your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so casual drug use is just like an intermittent use of a drug just to boost your mood and everything.
Yeah.
But you don't have this compelling use of it that you are aware of its consequences and you can't stop.
Okay.
So that is the slight difference that can help you understand this.
All right. Let's talk about the risk factors. What are the key risk factors that predispose young people to substance abuse?
Um, well, we will talk about young people, but everybody is involved. Like I said earlier,
Yeah.
alcohol is generally
Okay.
abused worldwide,
Yes.
So, what some of the things that make young persons, especially in our context, to get involved in drug and substance? I'll list a few, but there are many more.
Okay.
So one of the issues is the societal aspect,
Okay.
where people are victims of trauma, victims of
True.
depression, victims of whether it's heartbreak or whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It gradually leads them to look for ways of overcoming these emotional and these stressful
Yeah.
situations.
Especially heartbreak. Like,
Exactly. So some people turn to drugs to take it to very, very high
mm-hmm.
levels, which
Yeah.
are abusive. And when they do
Yes.
this repeatedly, they begin to get used to, or they begin
Okay.
to develop this kind of mood where they can only be given by the drug.
Mm-hmm.
They lack a disconnection to happiness that comes naturally. They only
Okay.
get it when they use those drugs.
Okay.
So those depression, mental health issues like depression and the rest can also be a leading cause. Sometimes idleness. We existing in a situation where a lot of youths are unemployed.
Yeah.
So what do they spend time doing? They look for ways of replacing this idleness with something. And of course, they readily turn to the available substances that are around
True.
just to help them feel good and forget about the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, in essence, when youths are idle, it's easy for them to get into this kind of behaviors.
Okay.
We also have peer pressure. People want to become part of a gang, they want to identify,
You want to feel
especially when
belonged.
the child is at the age where he or she is trying to identify with a group of persons out there.
Okay.
And it is worse when the family does not offer the child an environment that is welcoming.
All
If
right.
you're abusive to a child, you never see anything good in them and so on. They begin to find another family elsewhere. And when they join these gangs, they
Okay.
tell them, for you to belong, you have to be able to smoke. For you to
Mm.
belong, you have to be able to take these drugs, you do this and
Yeah.
that. And because of that gang membership, you find them into those things, especially those who are transitioning
Yeah.
from their young age into the youthful stage, and they are looking for areas of identifying with persons. We also
Okay.
have poor performance in school. Most children who don't perform well in school, you hardly see them, being attached to. They find themselves attached to things that will eventually lead them to drug and substance abuse.
Okay.
And also, a family history of drug and substance abuse can also be a factor. Your child will smoke. When you're smoking, when it grows up seeing you smoke, it thinks that Daddy
normal.
or
It's a
mama,
good
yes,
thing.
is doing a good thing.
Yeah.
You take alcohol, your child will grow up. So that family history where you have addicts can easily transfer to the children because they observe. They learn more from your non-verbal lessons than your verbal
That's
lessons.
true.
So those are some of the things that can encourage this kind of behavior among youths. And that's why we're facing what we face today. You know, we have challenges of employment, we have challenges of crises, war. So a lot of youths are into this, not because they wanted to, but because they are victims of all these situations.
Okay. So in relation to mental health, Dr. Brain, how does mental health correlate with substance use among teenagers?
All right, thank you. Mental health, like I said earlier, depression, stress. So some people need to find coping mechanisms.
All right.
When they find it difficult getting coping mechanisms, where do you see them? They start consuming alcohol.
Okay.
You know, some families, they say the man is a drunkard or the woman is a drunkard. He always drinks and come back home. The question is that home or family providing him the necessary environment that is good for his or her mental state?
Good question.
So you realize that mental health, which comes from sometimes your environment and the things happening around you, could be your relationship, it could be your, it can push people into looking for coping mechanisms, and drugs is always the readily available mechanism for them to cope. So that's something that pushes people into that. There are some people truly they have some issues when it comes to their mental state and the rest. They can easily get into such things. But in a nutshell, mental health, which comes from your environmental things around you, can easily bring you to things like stress and depression. And when people want to cope with those situations, they can easily become victims of drug use disorder.
Okay, so what role does family history play in the likelihood or livelihood of developing a substance use disorder?
Yes, the family history, like I earlier mentioned, when you have a family where we have addicts from generation to generation, the children tend to follow in that trend. That's to tell you that anything you do today, you're actually posing or putting your family at risk. I want to encourage parents to understand that whatever they do, they are going to transfer it into their children and their generations, whether conscious or unconscious. So you have to be a very careful parent when you do some of these things. And I want to encourage you all to understand that when it comes to drug and substance abuse, the problems are enormous. It's not only going to be financial to the family, it's also going to be on their health. And it's also going to be on the perception of how the family is. And it's going to run for generations. Yes, that is how this issue runs in families. Because children learn from all of the unconscious or maybe the non-verbal habits that they see their elders, their uncles, mothers, and fathers do. And moreover, sometimes for pregnant women who are drug addicts, the word addicts, who are victims of drug use disorder, sometimes it can alter the way this child is growing in utero in the womb. And when they alter the chemistry of these children, when they are born, they may be born with certain issues. It could be mental, it could also be some malformations. And these same children might find themselves back in the same trend.
True.
So that is how these things can impact families and how family histories can be a reason why this continues.
Okay, so what prevention strategies can be put in place to solve this problem of drug substance abuse?
Let me take a deep breath because it's a cascade of things. Maybe smiling, but it's a serious issue because it's often said if you don't cut the roots and you focus on cutting the branches, you keep sprouting out. So tackling this issue is going to be a multi-facet thing where we are not only going to be involved as individuals, we need involvement from every aspect, from the government through policies, from healthcare professionals, right down to individuals and families. But collectively, what we can do as of now is first promoting awareness. Some people get into drug and substance use disorder without knowing the implications it has on them. But by raising awareness and telling them the impact of how this thing can be to their health and their life as a whole, can prevent some people from getting into it.
That's true.
So proper awareness and dissemination of information that is credible and of quality can be the first tool we will use to prevent those who are not yet victims from becoming victims of this substance use disorder.
Okay.
On the other hand, those who are part or who are already victims of it, we should offer a friendly environment. Remember, I said this thing is a disease.
True.
That's why the word addiction is stigmatizing, but the word a substance use disorder is a little bit friendly.
True.
So because let me just share with you one of the things these medications do, according to the Albert Einstein's College of Medicine. A research was done and which shows that most of these drugs causes you to release what we call feel-good hormones.
Okay.
And these feel-good hormones, then permit me use the name like dopamine.
All right.
Dopamine makes you happy, makes you feel good. It makes you temporarily forget that there's something happening in your life. You know, this is why people take it, because they want to feel good.
Okay.
And when it becomes repetitive, it alters their brain chemistry so much so that they feel the pleasure they are normally supposed to feel naturally only when they have these drugs.
Okay.
So it is altering their brain chemistry, and by doing so, it is a disease process. And so when you see a victim of substance use disorder, don't look at them to be people who are outcasts, people who are tyrants and the rest. Don't stigmatize them. Understand that they are into it because of a situation, and because of the situation, they got into this disease process.
All right.
So offering friendly environments and identifying the root cause of why some of these people became substance use abusers from the first place is very important. Providing them a safe space for recovery and managing their medical as well as their psychological aspects that may be involved. So this is the second part, how we can help victims. The third thing is for the government and every key stakeholder to be involved in stopping the circulation and smuggling of these medications.
Is that possible?
That is something, like I said, it's not something that we can handle it at individual level. We need the collaboration of government, civil society organization, health structures, and even you and I to promote this circulation of illicit medication, and also to promote awareness. And sometimes making unavailable some of the substances that they use in producing these drugs.
Great.
Yes, there are some countries where you cannot cultivate the coca plants, which is used in producing cocaine.
Okay.
It's restricted. Even here in Cameroon, cannabis or banga, it is not allowed for you to cultivate it. But, well, people still do. But how can we enforce some of these things in a way that we minimize the circulation of this illicit, the production of them, or the cultivation of some of these substances that are used in producing them, plants that are used in producing them? Sorry.
Okay.
So these are some of the ways, but I believe in subsequent discussions, we'll have to examine some of these in details and other ways in which we can combat this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The way you're saying it is like you're reading from one book, but it's all in the brain. So we have this other question for you. How do socioeconomic factors impact substance use among adolescents? Have you answered this?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
But when we talk about socioeconomic factors, it still boils down to having access to this medication. Now, poverty is actually a risk factor of drug and substance abuse.
Poverty.
Yes, poverty is a risk factor.
How?
You realize, in fact, studies show that people who are very poor are drug and they easily have a risk of getting involved in drug and substance abuse. Paradoxically, those who are very rich too,
they do.
They have, of course, they can afford these things.
It's easy
for them to afford. Then those who are very poor, because poverty in itself is a disease. Poverty brings you through a lot of mental stress, depression, and so many things. So in order to cope with that state or that moment, you become exposed to this substance use disorder. And for the extremely wealthy, some of them can afford it. So you find out, well, maybe everything is good for them. They have money. They just keep trying things and so on and so forth. So that is how economic situations can become an influence to this. And of course, if we look at the economic situation, also in the light of, for example, employment. If somebody is not employed, of course, they are not earning a salary, they are not productive, so they are always free. That idleness and the rest.
Yeah.
So the only thing they turn to is drugs.
Sure.
That is exactly how these socioeconomic stages play on people in
Okay.
relation to being a risk factor for
Okay.
substance use disorder.
Okay. So to solve the problem, we need to create jobs.
Of course, to solve the problem, one of the ways,
Mm.
I don't want to say to solve because this thing is a cascade of issues.
Okay.
Because even when you're solving some problems at the level of providing employment, you also find out that it's still circulating.
Yeah. What about
The
the people
affluent,
who are employed and are wealthy that is still
of course,
engaging in
they
it?
still
Yeah.
have access to it. So
True.
we have to reduce access to this. We also have to provide employment where youth can become more useful,
True.
less idle,
Mm-hmm.
and also productive to the nation. You cannot imagine the amount of productive talent and youth we've lost.
True.
I've met a lot of young people, from girls to boys, who are victims of this. Some of them want to come out, but they find it difficult now because they've already confused their body chemistry to always feel good when they are on these drugs,
Wow.
giving them this repetitive use disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, when we handle the issue of economy, employment, and the rest, we can reduce it, we can minimize it.
Okay.
But not doing anything about it only opens the door for the thing to keep expanding
Exactly.
rapidly.
Okay, thank you very much. We are getting closer to the end. What are the long-term effects of substance abuse on health and well-being in general?
All right, I've been talking a lot, and I believe I've said some of these things within the lines.
Yeah.
So, what are the long-term effects? Generally, on your health, there are lots of effects.
Okay.
If I take alcohol alone, the consistent consumption of alcohol poses a threat to you in many aspects.
Mm-hmm.
We commonly talk about hepatitis, which we've recently been talking about.
Yeah.
Alcohol can damage your liver. Alcohol too can increase abnormal fat depositions at the level of the liver and also in your blood vessels.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, you may always be right if they ask you what's the risk factor for any disease and you call alcohol. You will almost always be right.
Okay.
And smoking as well.
Yeah.
So risk factors for several cancers, we hear some bladder cancer, gastrointestinal cancer, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that too, you have cardiovascular diseases, for example, high blood pressure, diabetes.
Yeah.
Yes, when you are a stressed person or you are always on psychoactive drugs, what do you expect? Your blood pressure is never normal.
True.
So you eventually develop hypertension.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, when we talk of diabetes, it's just a consequence of all of this abnormal chemistry where your body produces or become insensitive to insulin.
Okay.
Victims of drug and substance abuse are persons that easily get into those levels.
Okay.
Beyond that, we talk about in terms of dietary or nutrition, most of them are malnourished.
Okay.
They don't feed properly. First, because those psychoactive drugs can fool them into becoming so okay that they don't want to
You don't
eat.
feel hungry.
Yes, for some drugs, most of the psychoactive drugs. And then to an extent, some of these drugs also deplete certain micronutrients that are essential for the body's growth.
Interesting.
For example, a common one is alcohol. It depletes your available stores of vitamin B because vitamin B is generally used to metabolize the alcohol and remove it from your system.
Okay.
So people tend to develop things like anemia. Anemia is because there's not sufficient vitamin B12, for example, for blood production. They also develop cardiac issue and also issues along the brain. Why? Because they deplete their vitamin B1, B2, B3, which are all involved in all of these processes. I don't want to call some big names because it's not it's not necessary.
Please don't.
But at least you understand that these drugs have an issue on your general nutritional state.
Okay.
Can easily make you malnourished.
Okay.
So chronic use of these drugs is very impactful on your health.
All right.
And beyond health, it also affects your future. You never get to the fullness of your potential.
Okay,
because you're constantly, because drug and substance abusers usually isolated. They don't do anything productive because they just find themselves somewhere isolated, high on drugs.
Okay.
And they become useless to the community.
Yeah.
Moreover, it consumes your finances. Imagine the amount of money these people lose in all of this.
Every single day.
For example, you find somebody selling everything at home just to be able to get this drug to stay high.
Yeah.
No, you can bear with me. You
True.
witness how they sell everything from the
True.
TV to the even sometimes they
Yes.
take their shoes and sell. They sell even what they put on
Yes.
just because they want to have this drug. So it's a serious thing, both on
Okay.
health, both on economy, and also on the nation. Imagine the number of potential youths, potential engineers, potential presidents.
Yeah.
I mean that we lose just because of this drug and substance abuse. It's
Okay.
a serious problem, and I think everybody should be involved. You are also involved. People drive on drugs. People in the community that want to harm you like thieves, they are most of the time victims of this. So
Okay.
it is one way or the other going to affect you and I. So it is something that we all must take it as a priority to
Okay.
reduce this among
True.
Cameroonians.
True. So you're talking about these ripple effects that we cannot avoid from drug substance abuse. We have this video that you brought, and I'm sure our viewers would want to take a look before we round up our session. So
Okay.
let's have the video.
Now young boy that it go up, you want to see go come down. Let's say once she don't change no day, it will come back and give up. You want to see go up, you want to see come down. Now the thing control it look down here, they let school begin away, the day class. He don't even know say it so he didn't have a four.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have seen that. Well, doctor, you have to explain that video. What's going on there?
All right. That's a young man. I don't know. Quite. It looked like it's morning, early in morning.
Yeah.
He's definitely trying to get high, maybe so that the day can go well for him.
Yes.
And of course, he's taken so much of the whatever substance he has taken.
Yeah.
And now he's in a state of euphoria.
Oh, okay.
That state where there's no problem. He's feeling so good.
Life is too
Life is good,
life
you know.
is too sweet.
He's
to
in
allow it
another
like
he's
that.
in another realm.
Yeah.
And there he's frozen.
Okay.
For him, there's no problem. But for you, the viewer, he has a problem. Yes. We don't know what might have been going on.
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, that's the effect of a drug use disorder.
Okay.
And you might realize that he wants to stop, but he finds it difficult.
Okay.
That is what we call substance use disorder.
Okay. Thank you very much. So this last question for you: how can communities better support youth at risk of substance abuse?
Like I said, this issue is a holistic issue. We cannot look at it from one direction. We cannot solve it only medically.
Yeah.
Because there are other reasons why people get into this, which are non-medical reasons, but they eventually develop medical problems.
Okay.
So we have to put hands together as a community to see to it that we promote awareness. Like I said earlier, when you promote awareness, you help people who are not victims yet. You tell them the effects of this, so it prevents them from getting into something that they are now aware of.
Okay.
Then we provide a safe space for those who are already victims. First, don't stigmatize them. Identify them as persons who are sick and they need help.
Okay.
And when you identify them, it's also important to help them to be able to express themselves.
Yeah.
You can either channel them to professionals who are trained to do this, who can identify, bring them in, and then begin to walk them through the process of winning them out of this habit.
Okay.
Then we also have a community level, which is not just community as community, a global level where we talk about organizations and we talk about the government getting involved so that we stop the distribution of these drugs and substance disorder, and then we promote an environment where there will be employment and less idle youth who will be actively involved in the nation building.
All right.
In that way, the community can help combat or minimize this or reduce this to the lowest level possible.
Okay. So advise the viewers in general as you do.
I want to first of all say drug and substance abuse is a growing concern in Cameroon. It's going to affect you in one way or the other, and you are involved in the fight against this. It is true that one man cannot do this, one organization cannot do this, but a collective effort of you and I, including organizations and the government or policymakers, can help us combat this. even though we know there are lots of money involved in the circulation of this, but let us reason and think about the social impact and the impact it has on the GDP of the economy, where we lose potential persons, potential presidents, like I would say, potential engineers, and people who can build the nation. Let us not look at this thing individually. Let us look at the global impact, and let us together fight against this. Don't stigmatize these persons. They are as sick as any other person. Provide a safe environment for them, and preferably use the word substance use disorder and not addiction. In that way, you're going to help them come out of this problem. And however, we're also going to open anonymous groups and anonymous places where we can have these people share their life's experiences and their challenges without any stigma, and so that we can help them. And together we can combat this and provide a nation that we will all be proud of. Thank you all so very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Brain. Given that with you, it's always very calm. Have you noticed how calm we are? Like, I can't wait to have Mrs. Shinada Williams so I can raise my voice up. But yeah, thank you very much for teaching us so well. I believe that our viewers have learned a lot. So, Dr. Brain, you're not going. I want to have your advice on this anonymous message that we received. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, give Dr. Brain his flowers down there in the comment section for teaching us about drug substance abuse. Now he wants to contribute on this particular message that needs our advice, professional or unprofessional. What does the message say? Please, I need advice. I am in a difficult situation with my husband, whom I've been married to for several years. We have 5 children together. He easily gets angry when we are having a conversation, and he often becomes controlling, especially about me having more money than him. He shouts at me and has continually beaten me even before he finally married me, always in front or before our children and neighbors. I'm thinking of ending the marriage, but still thinking about my 5 children. Please, I need your advice. Right, the number is on your screen. The comment section is open for your contributions. Now, this is about, is it violence?
Yeah,
yes, so Dr. Brain.
There is violence in all of this.
There is.
Violence is not something, medically we don't want violence.
Medically.
We don't, because we call it gender-based violence.
Sure.
Violence can be at any level, but this one is serious. The one really serious.
Physical violence.
I will really talk to it to you.
You have to talk because it's your gender.
My gender.
Your gender.
You know, this issue called marriage. Let me not use the word issue. Marriage is a beautiful thing. The Bible says so.
Okay.
But before getting into marriage, you should really, if you're a Christian, you should pray about it first before you take certain decisions, because this is a lifelong something. And so if you decide to carry a cross, you have to carry it to the end. So that's why my first advice, because the worry says even before they got married, she had been exposed to this violence. So it's not a good thing. I think one of the things she should have done before getting married was to evaluate, count the cost. The Bible will say before you begin a project, count the cost. Is it worth it? So I am not for violence, and I think the husband is really supposed to rethink, because the wife seems like an asset. Having more money than your husband does not make, for me, it doesn't make my wife
there is that insecurity on the side of the man.
As long as she chooses to marry you, it means that she's willing to go all the way with you. So if she has more money than you, to me, it's an asset. She's she's a value to you, which means that in any case where you're not able to meet up, she can step in and fill in the shoes. In fact, she's a suitable helper. As a matter of fact, for me, before you get married, you should measure your compatibility. Compatibility means, are you spiritually compatible? 1. Are you financially compatible? 2. Are you so there should be a lot of compatibilities that should be evaluated. And like I said earlier, if you're a Christian, pray about it and make a decision that is not just emotionally driven. It's also driven by guidance
Okay.
from God. And then you should always evaluate these compatibilities, because you don't want to be in a marriage where you and your husband have two different visions and you find it hard helping each other to achieve, because when you get married, both of you are becoming one, which means you're supposed to have one mind, one heart, one everything.
Okay.
So it's not just about sharing the bed together, it's about sharing everything together.
Okay.
So my advice in this situation is they really need to seek help.
They
Need to seek help.
Okay.
But it might seem like the husband might not, but I think the wife should seek help from a professional counselor.
Okay.
Yes, because this is a field where I'm not a master, but at least I think that somebody who is a professional in this can provide them help. It could be their pastor, could be a counselor, so that we don't have things that will eventually lead to killing, because we've seen people who died in marriages.
Yeah.
And if there is something that is a threat to your life, then you should walk away from it, recalibrate, and see what the next steps of handling this can be.
Okay.
So that's my best advice I can give in this situation.
Well, I still have one question for you, but I want to receive some of the messages that have been coming in from this particular topic of discussion. Maybe a comment from you would do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I see all your messages coming in, and this time we want to have them. Just so you know, we are still with you. This message says, great show you all. Okay, thank you very much. I am Madam Jeanette from Travelers. I understand how hard this must be for you. Your safety and well-being should come first. Living in an abusive environment can have lasting effects on your children. I think it's important to reach out for help and consider leaving. Nice one. Yes, there are resources available to support you and your kids. Thank you very much, Madam Jeanette. Okay, this other message says, this is huge, I must say. Yeah, it is. While I sympathize with your situation, I believe in the power of family and commitment. If you think there is a chance to work things out, perhaps seek couples therapy first. It could help address his insecurities and improve communication. But of course, prioritize your safety. And then this one message, we'll get back to Dr. Brain. That notwithstanding, we are still going to take all your messages. Good morning, team Abakwa TV. Good morning to you too. I am Donald from Devil Streets.
Wow.
To this person, living an abusive relationship is never easy, especially with kids involved. But staying might set a harmful example for them. Nice one. I suggest you explore your options for support and make a plan for a safe exit. Your children deserve a peaceful environment. Thank you very much for this particular message. And ladies and gentlemen, we are still here and your advice is still very much needed. The number is on your screen. The comment section is open. Back to Dr. Brain.
Okay.
Parents, let me not even go to that route of when it's already at physical violence. Do you think that parents should, or do you agree, do you support parents having a conversation and they are kind of in an argument and it's to the hearing of the children or people around?
It's a no. I don't support that.
Okay.
You know, many children grow up to hate marriages because they see what happened between their parents.
Yeah.
I've had friends who told me, female friends, that they don't want to get married. And when I had prolonged conversation with them, say it's just because what I see my parents doing, I don't like marriage. And like I earlier said when I was talking about drug and substance abuse, these kind of behaviors, when you grow up in a family that marriages are abusive and arranged, the tendency is that you hate marriage. Or if you eventually get married, you might repeat the same thing your father or mother was doing.
Of which, when you were seeing it, you were like, I will not do this thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there is this generational cycle that you can initiate. So that is how dangerous certain behaviors in front of your kids are.
Yeah.
So it's true that marriages is not going to be a smooth ride. There's going to be tolerance. They should be tolerant.
Okay.
Initially, when you get married, there's a lot of dopamine highs where you're You want to
What's
explore
dopamine?
this. When I say dopamine, I'm talking about those feel
Okay.
good hormones, those love, those
Okay.
that honeymoon period.
Sure, you could just say it like that.
Everything is
Yes.
sweet.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Then eventually, do you
Mhm.
think that marriages that survive for 30, 40 years, is it just no?
Okay.
Yes, so couples go through challenges,
Mhm.
but your ability to show love, I mean, love that is not just emotions, love that
Yeah.
is able to understand and forgive
Unconditional, per se.
unconditionally is what is going to take you through those moments. And the
Okay.
way you handle your problems should be very, very important because you don't want to expose kids to it. You want to show kids the beautiful side of marriage.
Mhm.
Remember, marriage will be with problems, but how do you handle them is very important. I don't support couples handling it in front of kids, but
Okay.
if they really love each other, they will handle it behind doors. And
Mm.
when they do it in a quiet, peaceful, and loving way, they're
Mhm.
going to live in marriage for such a long time. And again, find time to do things that you guys love.
Oh.
What you did to attract your husband and what your husband did
Marriage
to
counseling going
yes,
on.
just begin to I mean find
Yeah.
time to do those things
Okay.
and find time to spend together and explore other new things,
Okay.
vacations and so on and so forth.
All right.
Those things help bonding time, I
Okay.
believe, and then it's going to help you navigate some of these challenges together. And
Okay.
during these times too, you can talk about your problems and not be
Mm.
like the one and then when I fix and no, not so the thing there.
We're here for you. We're learning from you,
Learning
doctor.
from me, I'm not married.
We are learning from
It's my
you.
opinion.
Yeah, so thank you very much for sharing. But now, in my mind, this thing has started way long before they got married. So don't you think that is because, oh, this lady just got comfortable, and I don't know why you would stay in a violent relationship. Maybe it's because of the one child, the second child, and you're thinking, oh, what will I do with these children? Someone listening to this will just say, quit. Now, do you or would you advise her to stay just because of the 5 children that she has? Because it's hectic.
It's a difficult
One
one.
thing can lead to another, and the beating will not just end at slaps. It will take you to the hospital, and before you know it, you cannot survive.
And to be honest,
Yeah.
recently I heard of a violence that began with all this, it was non,
Yeah.
it never involved physical violence, but it
Yeah.
eventually led to physical violence,
True.
and somebody died.
You get
So
it.
if it poses a threat to life, I think there should be some distance.
Right?
Yes, but not without trying to fix the problem.
Okay.
Now, this began before marriage. That's why I'm saying that there is a certain level of a missed period where some things were supposed to be evaluated properly before a certain decision was supposed to be made.
Okay.
Having a child out of wedlock is bad, but the children themselves are not a mistake.
True.
Yes. So it should not be the reason you're getting married. That is the wrong reason for getting married because you had a child with
Nice
someone
one.
should not be the reason for getting married.
Yeah.
The reason for getting married is beyond just children.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting married to somebody. Children is just a byproduct, which is a
True.
gift from God. It is not the sole reason.
True.
So you should be ready to spend your entire life with someone you choose to.
Okay.
And you should consider certain things, which was if she had considered some of these things or was properly counseled,
Mm-hmm.
I think she would have made a better decision. But now that she is in it already, because we're not talking
Yeah.
about somebody who is already first way
in it.
already the inside soup now. So we'll get for the
Yes.
so for me,
Yeah.
there should be some distance because if her life of her children at stake, there
Yeah.
should be some distance.
Okay.
Then she should seek counseling for the best way out.
All right.
Yes, God helping her, she can succeed because with God, all things are possible.
You want to pray for this person? I feel like you're taking us to church. A word of prayer to this person, Dr. Brain. Just say, God will help you. I pray that God will keep helping you. Yeah.
Okay, I pray that God will keep helping you and give you a solution even in this time.
And the people of God will say amen. Thank you very much, Dr. Brain, for coming on the show and always teaching us. We are grateful. So let me tease your brain.
Okay. I hope anyone could.
I hope so.
Easy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have had Dr. Brain on today's edition of the show, and I hope that you have enjoyed this very educative session. Now, let's tease his brain so that he can now take his leave. I'm teasing your brains as well. So the comment section is open. The number is on your screen. What does this riddle say, particularly? What fastens two people yet touches only one? What fastens two people? What brings, oh, let me help you. What brings two people together yet touches only one? What's that symbol? I'm trying to make you get a glimpse of it.
Like the one past my power. What fastens two people yet touches only one?
Only one.
You
Yeah.
said it's a symbol.
Kind of. Maybe I don't want to.
It cannot be love because it
Oh,
touches both
it
persons.
touches both, yes. But it's in that direction of love. Some of the things that we do when we finally say, okay, we love each other, we're getting married, we go do this, we go sign, and yeah, what's it?
Ha.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
ring.
Oh, now you got you got it, and that was quick. Yeah, but I helped, right?
Normally,
Yes,
you're
of
supposed
course.
to help.
How?
What you've done was just helping, so you're supposed to help.
Okay. But
Just saying
yes,
it in other ways can give you a clue as
yeah.
to
So
what
I'm
the
saying,
riddle is all about.
so I'm saying that I helped you. So maybe one good turn deserves another.
Okay.
So what's it? What is it that you owe me for that good turn?
Now I owe you flowers.
Flowers.
Yes, I'll give you your flowers.
Give me my flowers, of course.
I'll
Now
give
it's
you
been
your
a wonderful
flowers.
time with you. You have some people you want to say hello to before you take your leave.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm super excited because I mean I'm able to do what I do because of great persons, great organization.
Okay.
I want to say a mighty thank you to Abakwa TV.
Okay.
I mean, you're doing an amazing job providing us a platform like this where we can share information that is
True.
of quality and that can help people make informed decisions.
True.
I also want to shout out to our partners and our new partnership, which we just signed recently with
Okay.
MXT Health Aids under the leadership of Ms. Decenta Asheri,
Okay.
where provide home health aiders or caregivers. So
Okay.
we're partnering with them in order to do a lot of home health services and caregiving services.
All
I
right.
also want to shout out to Graceland Pharmacy, Great Reef Foundation, Diligent Hands, Miss Integrity Cameroon. In fact,
Okay.
the list is so long,
Yes,
so I
I was
want to
about to tell you it's okay.
I want to say shout out to you
Yeah. All
and
right.
our one and only
Okay.
Miniam Side, Dave, and the entire
You
team of
people's
Abakwa
one and
TV.
only Menyam Sigo.
So we want to appreciate you
Yeah.
so much for the great and mighty job you're doing.
Thank you. We appreciate you too. Oh yeah,
Thank
you
you.
can now go. It's been a wonderful time with you. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you and have a blessed day, Tom.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying tuned with Dr. Brain from Home Clinic Foundation. I hope you had a wonderful time on this session. Well, remember, it is only when you hear me say until next time, choose Abakwa Television. That's when you are permitted to blink your eye. That is to say, we are still here. We will take a quick break, and when we come back, we are getting into the Learning Lab with Mrs. Shinada Williams. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere yet.